Hello and welcome to this short video that gives you a number of stretches that you can do to ease your neck, top of your shoulders and front and back of your arms. In terms of props that you might find useful today, if you have a yoga strap, then grab one of those. If not, you could just grab a towel or a belt, anything at all that can help you potentially take some of these bind movements. So just make sure you have that to hand. And then come to find a nice comfortable seat and take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then even here, just get that sense of rolling the shoulders back and down your back. And so let's start at the top of the body and then we'll move a little bit further down. So coming straight into the neck here, let's start by taking these very gentle half head circles right and left. And so if, like me, you do a lot of this high intensive interval training, your HIIT training, you'll find particularly that neck and shoulders get really involved. So if you think of some of the exercises that show up in those workouts, it's things like your planks, it's your burpees, it's your shoulder taps, it's your press ups. And I know that after a session, I do tend to really feel this in the upper body. And so this first, just very general sweeping movement is it's just trying to release some of that tension that, you know, obviously kind of creeps up from shoulders into neck. When you're doing upper body work, up it comes into the neck. And so this first one just eases some of that out. So nice and gentle here. And you might find pops and cracks as vertebra release, and that's fine, as long as it doesn't cause you pain. And then of course you can progress this. If you like this feeling of a full head circle, and I don't, not necessarily, not always, but you can. Yeah, if you like to, you can. But just make sure when you're coming into the back part of the circle that there's still a degree of engagement there, so you're not completely collapsing into the vertebra at the back of the neck. So just with the neck especially, being very mindful, very cautious of what feels good and what doesn't. And if you are doing the full head circles, feel free to change direction as many times as feels right. And again, if it doesn't feel good, just stay with the half sweeps. But hopefully already as you do this, you're getting a feel for whereabouts in the neck you're feeling this. And so moving on from there, find a spot that feels tender for you. So for me, it's just about here. And just pause and hold that stretch. Deep breath in. Again, be really conscious of your body, of your shoulders here. Just make sure that those shoulders aren't creeping up to the ear. Keep them rolling down. If you wish to intensify the stretch of the neck, you could gently place a hand to the head. It'll give a little bit more weight there. So see if it feels good or not. And of course, you could also stretch the opposite arm out. So pause and breathe. If you're in this with me, you should get a real strong stretch down the side of your neck. And of course, you can explore the angle of chin to chest. You'll feel as you tilt the angle that the stretch starts to move around the neck. So just keep exploring, finding where particularly it feels good for you. Releasing, of course, the hands if it feels too much. To move into the second side, just very gently lift up that head. You could even help it get there. And take a shoulder roll just before you come to the second side. And then let's feel how the other side is. So maybe it's a shoulder and ear towards shoulder. If that's not quite hitting the spot, start to play with the angle of chin to chest. And again, once you find that spot for you, maybe you add that little bit of extra something. And so all of these stretches that I'm going to show you today, you can be in them for as long or as little as you wish. This video just aims to give you a few ideas. And then again, gently ease on up, make sure all feels okay. And again, just take that moment just to ease it out a little bit with the shoulders. So that's kind of stretch 1 and 2. Yep, you can do your sweeps, you can do your full circles, you can do an ear to a shoulder and some of those chin angled tilts. Moving on, let's take one arm across the body. And so partly this is a shoulder stretch, partly you're going to feel it through the outside of your front arm. So deep breaths in, deep breaths out, and then just note if there's the tendency to bring the shoulder forward with the arm. You're trying to keep both shoulders very square so that you're isolating the stretch. Again, nice deep breaths. And some of you may feel this a lot, some of you won't at all, and that's okay. Some of these things will work for you, some won't. And then switch change. And of course, often the interesting thing is when we start to do these stretches is feeling the difference in each side. There could be one side that feels super stiff, super sore, and the other side that feels absolutely fine. So if you need to spend extra on your tighter side, then do so. Again, nice deep breaths, and spine stays long. So at no point are we collapsing into the body with any of these stretches. We're staying nice and tall. And so if you need to, I'm sitting on a block just to help me sit tall. So you could sit on block or cushion, anything that allows the spine to lengthen whilst you're working on some of these neck and shoulder stretches. And then gently release. Again, take that shoulder circle in between each one. And then let's move on up into your tricep stretch. So I'm taking left arm on top. And this might be enough for some of you. It's getting right into the belly of the tricep. So you could stay here and open. Otherwise, if you want to intensify this, and I will demo this in a moment from the back, is you could take right arm out and dial that thumb to the floor. There's the internal rotation to sweep it behind the back. And some of you will very easily perhaps get the bind. And if you don't, you've got a few options. You could just slip the forearm to the back of the waist, which feels really nice, and you're still getting the stretch into the right shoulder, this bottom shoulder. Otherwise, if you wish to try it with the strap, of course, you could hold the strap in the top arm and grab it with the bottom arm. But the main point to notice with this is no matter what version you're in of the 3 I've just shown you, bind with strap or across the back, is this bottom shoulder, which is the one that predominantly is going to feel the stretch. It'll want to roll and collapse in, and so keep trying to roll that shoulder back. And that's the important thing. It's not about whether you can make the bind or not. You don't want to force the body here. You're being really respectful with all of these stretches. I mean, with any stretch, but particularly if you're working intently with your weight training or your gym workouts or your home workouts, is, you know, the muscles and the joints feel like they're getting stronger, but they feel like they're getting tighter. And so now you're asking them to move in a very different way. So you do want to do all of these stretches with respect and make sure it's about nice form and correct, safe form, rather than, oh, I have to force my fingertips to touch. You really don't. So take a couple more breaths here. You've been here for a while on this side. And so your exit, again, particularly for this one, as that shoulder is rolling back, is very gentle. I tend to release the top arm and cautiously, slowly release the bottom arm, and just give it a moment to roll open. Take a deep breath in and out, and then have a feel for your second side. So right arm takes the tricep stretch. Again, you have the opportunity to stay here. Otherwise, left arm out to the side, thumb dials down. You can feel and hopefully see how that rotation comes in at the shoulder joint, and then slowly, gently guide that arm either up the back or across the back of the waist. Fueling the body with deep breaths. and trying to bring a sense of relaxation into the poses. So you don't want to fight these stretches. You are sending the breath there, and you are softly and gently guiding them. A few more breaths on this side, trying to soften where you can, particularly again around the bottom shoulder. A few more breaths. And there's that gentle release. So top arm away, bottom arm away, roll the arms open. And you can take that this counter pose, this pose where you're seated with palms up for as long as you need to. Otherwise, moving on, just demonstrating something else that you could do. And this time, rather than the stretch that we've just done, this tricep hold, you tend to feel it into the front of your shoulder. Now let's see if we can get right behind the shoulder blades. And so some of you may have done this with me before. You cross the right elbow over the left, and then you bend the elbows. And for some of you, this will be enough. Otherwise, if you wish to take the bind, you would take that right arm and maybe left fingertips catch right palm. If I demo that from this side, maybe you can see it a little better. So it's literally arms are wrapped around each other, and the stretch is right in here. So it's a really nice one. It gets all of those knots that seem to sit and hide behind the shoulder blades. And ever so slightly, I'm lifting up through my elbows with a brightness and a lift through the chest as well. So deep breath in and out. And again, just being here if you need to. No push to find a bind if it doesn't serve you. Take one more inhale, exhale, and then gently release that. Again, take the moment to roll the shoulders back, and then let's have a feel second side. Left arm, and try to get the arms as far across as you can, the elbows as far across as you can, to either take that bind with left hand or keep it open. And either way, no matter which variation you're in, there's a bit of a bracing of your arms together. It's as if you're trying to pull them apart, and it's that helps to give you that stretch. Again, just demoing a little bit from the side so you can see it from this side. Also nice, if it feels good in the body, is as you lift those elbows, maybe you lift the chest a little bit too, and get this real open chest. Breath fully in. Again, even in this shape, I'm still trying to keep the shoulders down my back. Nothing is crunching up. And if you find in your body that the shoulders are crunching up, then you know that that's the signal from the body to back off the pose. Taking another couple of breaths on this side. Again, nice, full, even, steady breaths just to help settle the body. And then gently unwind, roll the shoulders back, and let's come onto all fours just to ease into something different. So come into your cat-cow. It's a great pose to do for so many reasons. It's nice on shoulders, it's nice on back, and we'll play with cat-cow a little bit more in another video. But for now, bring those hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. Inhale, lift your chest as you ease your shoulders down your back. And exhale, tuck your chin to your chest, tuck your tailbone and round your spine. Again, deep breath in, everything opens. And a deep breath out, everything closes. Let's just go twice more. Inhaling, you're just getting the body ready for the next pose. Exhale. So you should feel this right into the mid-spine, also into the lower spine. Inhale. And exhale. And then come to a nice neutral spine. For a moment, just take the left hand away and then sweep the back of the right arm all the way through and bring your right shoulder and side of the head to the floor. If this isn't accessible for you, if you feel that you get about here and you're stuck, that's okay. You could bring either your block or a cushion, ideally a cushion, just because it's a little softer for you to rest on. Yeah, you could either bring it to the head, you could bring it, if it's a blanket, you could bring the shoulder to that prop, but something that it feels like it brings the floor up to meet you. And then left fingertips, they drive into the floor. I'm trying to roll my shoulder up to the sky, left shoulder stacking on top of right shoulder. And hopefully you will feel this now a little bit more into the mid-spine. And a couple of options here that brings it more intently into the shoulder is I like to extend the left leg out first. That makes it a little easier for me to rotate. I feel like I have more freedom. It does make it more precarious though, so listen if it works for you or not. And then left hand to the waist. Again, getting this feeling of rolling this shoulder back. You feel the stretch through the pec. You could take the arm to the sky if that feels appropriate for your shoulder. You could bring the back of the hand to sneak behind you into a half bind. And if all of that feels too much, you stay here in the thoracic spine opener. Let's gently unwind, knee grounds, and you come up and out. Take a moment, inhale. Exhale, and then let's have a feel second side. So again, it would be the right leg that extends back and the left arm that sweeps through. Again, maybe a block or a cushion underneath that left shoulder, and release. And so just demoing this from the back, you can see a little better what this arm is doing. So maybe shoulder stack, hand to waist, or a half bind. And absolutely, this pose is a little awkward in the neck, so just make sure neck is as comfortable as you can. You can just tuck the chin a little bit, will help lengthen through the back of the neck. Couple more breaths. To unwind, gently extricate yourself. Bring hands back to the floor. Let's move through a couple of cat-cows. Inhale again, use those shoulders down the back, and exhale, tuck and round. Just let that go from the body for a moment. Deep breath in and deep breath out. Final one to show you, I will show you upright and then onto the floor. It's similar to the pose that we were doing here. I've literally got the arms crossed, and you could just stay here and do this. Otherwise, a really nice way to do it is on your tummy. And so you would come to make your way down. Again, potentially a blanket or a block might serve you well for this. And I'll just take a moment to thread my right arm underneath and my left arm on top. And hopefully you can see I'm walking fingertips away from each other. And this might be just where you stay. You'll feel this very much into the outer arms. It's really nice if you're doing a lot of weight work. Otherwise, you could push a little through your feet to bring your chest a little more forwards. And this might be where you would want to put a block or a blanket underneath your forehead, just so you feel you have some support as opposed to head hanging. And this is a really nice one. It's the outer arms. I'm also feeling it again right behind the shoulder blades here. And it's one of those poses where you feel like you want to be in it for a while. So my invitation would be, if it does feel good for you, if this hits all your spots, stay here for a good few minutes. Otherwise, just let's have a feel of that second side. So now it's the left arm that's the bottom, the right arm that's on top. I walk those fingertips away from each other. I wiggle forwards just a little bit and then ground forehead to prop. Again, interesting to note the difference on each side. One might feel much more restricted. Deep breath in and out. Try to soften and relax as best as you can. Lower body is nice and relaxed. Again, be there for as long as you wish. And then extricate yourself. Gently, hands underneath your shoulders, push yourself up, come to take a child pose, and let your arms sweep back. Forehead greets the floor, and now just let the arms collapse, let the shoulders roll in. And then slowly come up to sit. So I hope that was useful. It's just to give you a couple of ideas of the things that you can do, and pick some of those that work for you and see if you can be in them for a good 10 rounds of breath or so. And the prone pose, the one that we've just done, again, that's really nice. If you can hold that for a minute or two on each side, I promise that will feel really nice. Anyway, hope you enjoyed and see you again soon. Thank you.